thank you to all of you for attending on a beautiful Friday morning to hear the story about Blackwolf Copper and Gold. So I'm going to give you 5 different reasons why you should take a look at Blackwolf as an investment, but I really just want you to pay attention to one that's just going to blow your mind because it blew my mind. Our value is underpinned by, we have quite an advanced polymetallic asset, copper, gold, silver, zinc, VMS deposit, located at the southern end of Prince Wales Island in Alaska. It's well advanced, hundreds of drill holes, underground workings, excellent metallurgy. It gives us a floor in the value of this company. Second point is actually we're doing something very innovative with it. We are working with 4 other companies, one of which is private, 3 are public, Dolly Varden Silver, Goliath Resources, Coast Copper, New Moly, which is owned by RCF. We're all working together studying the potential mill site that can handle ore from all the deposits at Kitsault, BC. So this is, innovation and junior mining aren't often in the same breath. But we think we're doing something a little different there. We've got great share structure. We're cashed up. We have a big new shareholder. Our colleague within our office, Frank Justra, came in. We have excellent institutional holders, 80 million shares outstanding. And we just closed an $8.5 million financing. We have a wonderful technical team, including myself. I'm a geologist from Stewart, BC, 3rd generation miner from that part of the world, and know the history and the geology better than almost anybody. But why should you be taking a look at this? And this is the opportunity to be part of the best looking drill target I have seen in my career. And I've spent most of my time in the Golden Triangle, as has my family, looking at the demographics of the crowd here today with some silver-haired people and a few bald heads that remember Murray Pesum and the Eskay Creek discovery. Working nearby was my uncle Don McLeod with New Hawk Resources, where his geologists were drilling the wrong way at Bruce Jack. It took a couple of decades before they finally turned the rigs around and they discovered the Valley of the Kings Zone. But those are 2 really discoveries are happening all the time in the Golden Triangle. I'm going to do a little flex on Gwen. In fact, I remind her all the time about one of her best picks was GT Gold, because my pal Charlie Gregg had showed me the best looking soil anomaly I'd ever seen, and it led to the discovery and a subsequent takeout. And even companies like Goliath Resources at their Sherbet discovery a few years ago. The Golden Triangle really is a place that you want to keep your eye on all the time for new world-class, in particular, both high-grade and bulk tonnage discoveries. So what's so exciting here? Well, it's not on the Canadian side of the Golden Triangle. It's across the border in Alaska. It's called our Cantu property, and I can't believe this was missed. I've drove past this mountain 100 times. I used to work at Ascot's Premier mine, which is currently in redevelopment. They're building a big mill there, 3,000 tons per day. In an old map, we found a description of a 30-meter wide vein that ran 1 ounce per ton. So 30 meters is like double the height of this ceiling. I thought, there's no way. That sounds way too good to be true. We flew over there in a helicopter, and there it is. And we are going to be drilling it in a matter of weeks. So most of you, if you follow the space, you know where the Golden Triangle is, or Niblack project in Alaska at the south end of Prince Wales Island, Kitsault, the hub and spoke mill site. Really briefly, in terms of share structure, 80 million out, 108 fully diluted. Frank Justra owns 15%. I own 2.8 million shares in the company. And Delbrook Capital and Crescat are our 2 largest institutions, just excellent ones, as well as lots of great other institutional followers, newsletter writers, and retail investors, and really good backing with some colleagues in terms of the marketing side. So the history behind the discovery, and come and chat with me at the booth a little bit later, because I think it's absolutely wild how we come upon these properties as geologists. And it's difficult to see in this slide, but that old map was the one that led us to rediscovering this. And in fact, there's not one vein, there's a series of veins. And it was just like following an old treasure map. Mentioned 2 aerial tram lines. Again, I know my dad wrote the mining history of the Stewart area. So I had no idea that that property was there right adjacent to a mine in development and has never been drilled before. So looking at the map, we're the only, there's like 60 odd companies that are working on the Canadian side of the border. We are the only one that is on the US side. There's no geological reason for it. It was just I happen to have proprietary information from my family's history of growing up in Stewart, as well as my father and grandfather. There's been no modern exploration on the US side. In addition to Cantu, we have tons of other great prospects that I can take you through later. So here's the location. Orange is the international boundary. Right adjacent to us, you can see the redevelopment of the historic Premier Mine by Ascot Resources. It's an over 2 million ounce producer, was the richest mine in North America for decades. They're building a big mill, big one, 3,000 tons per day. They're gonna need some feed for that thing. And it's no problem taking ore across the border. So it's very likely part of the same geological system. And all of our sampling has run between 27 and 37 grams per ton from that main 30-meter wide vein. Why hasn't anybody done anything with it? Well, it's sitting in a sheer cliff that goes up for hundreds of meters. There's also a real silver-rich vein with a really cool mineral called polybasite. There's a lot of copper in it as well, too. And then there's other like old adits and stuff that I had no idea existed. So within a couple of weeks, we're going to sit above those cliffs. We're going to drill through these photos don't do it justice, but virtually everything you see in that photo is quartz. We sampled all the way along it. We got 37 grams per ton. This is an amazing drill target that needs to be on your screen in a couple of weeks. There's a new assay lab in Stewart. We're expecting 2-week turnaround, so we should be getting assays in July. It looks like it's a shallow dipping vein zone, similar to Ascot's Big Missouri deposit, which is nearby. But, you know, it could be folded and move around with faults, but we're just going to pepper it with several thousand meters worth of drilling, and actually some pretty long holes too, because we're seeing these stacked veins all the way down the cliff. Like, this is kind of a unicorn property. It's pretty rare to see in the Western world something like this that has never seen a drill hole. Even you can find big boulders of beautiful mineralization at the bottom of the cliffs. There's historic production from this deposit back in the 1920s. And in fact, they planned a big development in it, but which was, I guess, precluded by the stock market crash in 1929. But I can't believe this has been missed by all of us explorationists for years and years. Really briefly on our polymetallic mill, come by our booth and I can chat a little bit more about this. This, we think, is a really innovative way of enhancing economics to all these different projects, as well as de-risking the permitting side. New Moly tried to redevelop the Kitzel project, and they still have some plans about a decade ago, so their Mines Act permits are locked in. We likely have 2 other partners that are going to be joining us. The Nisga'a First Nation love this idea, as well as government. One mine, one mill and one tailings facility is better than multiple, and it enhances the economics of all these. It actually took a few weeks to try and figure out a path to how we can report these through PEAs or feasibility studies. So Niblack is it's a beautiful deposit. It's wide open for expansion as well. It's up to 150 meters wide of copper, gold, silver, zinc mineralization. We've recently had a geological breakthrough that has really opened up the exploration potential. We updated the resource on the deposit recently. It's a little under 2 grams gold and percent copper, a couple percent zinc, and an ounce per ton silver. What it really needs is tens of thousands of meters of drilling, and we will do that when we have a higher market cap. We're currently trading at between 25 and 30 million market cap, but when we can do like a $10+ million raise in this company, that's when we'll have a big program to step out and grow resources. It really is wide open. I know lots of promoters will say that, but it's like 77 meter intercept, no drilling to the west. 14 meters of high grade, no drilling up dip. 44 meters, no drilling down dip. And ideally, we'd like to connect up those two zones. Also, 19 meters of 6% copper, never a follow-up. So, but the main reason, have this on your radar screen in June and July for when we're drilling this thing. So, thank you very much.